All right, cool, cool. Hello, guys. Today I am with Tobias. Yes, like promised, the interview specifically with him about TikTok, the kind of results we got, how the journey is going so far, and what are his plans for TikTok or just in general, our collaboration for the future. So I'll let Tobias take over from here. Before I do, give us a quick intro, who you are, what does your agency look like right now, and kind of what is the main focus?
Nice to meet you, everyone. My name is Tobias. I'm from Germany originally, and we currently specialize in building new creators from scratch and getting like low revenue creators and put our systems onto their accounts and everything. So that's what we do. And we've also faced, of course, the problem the entire industry has seen over the past few months, and it's gotten pretty difficult sometimes. Everyone knows that, I assume, and we were trying to find a fix and some systems that don't really rely on the models, which was also a huge bottleneck and pain point because we've experienced some like very promising models and with like six-figure potential minimum, and it just it's just a natural limit then when you don't get enough content and you only rely on Instagram Reels, for example. That was a huge pain point, and I was very annoyed by that. And it only causes problems, and you don't make any progress. You're at the same point like for months, and you don't see any progress there. And that's why I thought I need to find a different system that doesn't depend on the model directly. It doesn't have to be like a main traffic source, but I want to create a certain baseline. Even if all the Instagram accounts fail or everything gets banned, I still want to have some security backup, basically. That's why I'm here.
Nice, makes sense. And today only, we'll just talk about the TikTok part, as that's what you guys started off. In my opinion, seen some very good results and good success. And I think that's one of the achieved points that you wanted from this, is not only relying on the model's content, and obviously we'll dive more deeper into how exactly that is done. So just to touch on the TikTok setup, because I get a lot of these questions every single day. How many phones Tobias runs, how many accounts per phone, kind of the technical stuff. So I don't want to really, yap about too much, the success you've had, how everything is going, how my coaching is. I rather talk on the technical side, which I think will be much more beneficial for the people. So my first question to you, how many TikTok accounts in total are you currently running?
We have, or that's many already. We have 14 phones, I think, with 5 accounts each, round about that. So we're at more than 50, of course.
Yeah.
So, but it depends. We have tried less per phone, so I don't really know the exact number right now because we have replaced some. Sometimes we have 3 accounts, sometimes four, but most of the time, 90% we have five
Very
per
nice.
phone.
I mean, 14 phones is for sure not like an entry level
Yeah.
type of way. So yeah, I'm very happy about that. And on those 14 devices, or maybe you have use something else as well for the TikTok accounts. What devices do you mainly use? Is it iPhones, Androids?
We only have iPhones right now, and they have to be like a certain model
Yeah.
minimum. And we are also trying to, or I want to try Android phones maybe in the future, but I don't have experience using them, so we're only using iPhones with everyone right now.
Makes sense. And my next question was going to be how many accounts per phone, but you did touch on that around 3 to 5, which makes
Mhm.
sense. Now, I think this is the most important question of today's interview, and it is probably a question that affects the TikTok account's performance the most. Where are your VAs located? And how many do you have managing the TikTok side of things?
So I like to keep everything as separated as possible. So we try to only use one phone per VA
Okay.
because I've seen like very bad effects using the same networks or being like around around each other physically. So I cut that down to one phone per VA. There are different setups you can use, but mine are in the Philippines right now, which is connected to a higher ban risk, of course, which I've also experienced. But at the same time, the advantage is that it's cheap and you can experiment and you have some flexibility there. And you're not like bound to a super high cost immediately, and you can test what works for you. Because what I've also noticed is that it's very individual and you have to
Mhm.
find like the perfect solution for each phone and for your model and everything. I already
Makes
forgot the second part. Sorry.
so in total, how many VAs are managing just the TikTok side of things?
Ah, yeah, that's one phone per VA. So we have 13 to 14 right
13
now. I
VAs. Nice.
think 12 of them are active already. The other ones are onboarding.
Makes sense. And majority of those, or let's say all 12, are all from the Philippines?
Everyone, yeah,
Very
so
nice.
far. I want to try different setups soon,
Yeah,
but that's everything I've used so
of
far.
course. Nice, very nice. So on them 12 phones, are your phones set up like as UK or US? And does it make a difference for you? Like, have you seen maybe the US accounts perform better, or the US or the UK accounts, or there is no difference?
To be honest, I've only tried US now, and
Hmm.
I've always just done US traffic then, but you get a very, very clean US rate
Yeah.
with the US phone setup. So everything is US, also Apple ID and everything you can change. We have tried one UK phone. It didn't perform too well for us, but
Hmm.
the phone was dead, I think, before it was flagged already. So other people have success using the UK VPN too. Maybe it's not that flooded already, but I can't speak about the UK part. And it works very good for us. Like I would say more than 90% of our accounts have a super, super clean US rate. So it works great, like talking 95%
Yeah.
plus.
Very nice, very nice. I think also TikTok is a little bit um not hit and miss, but like everyone has different experiences with it. For example,
Yeah.
like we done more UK accounts because we seen the TikTok accounts just grew gradually faster. But the difference is the audience was a little bit mixed. It was still the highest
Hmm.
one was the UK, but we also had like a lot of European countries with like 15-20% audience coming from there. So
Yeah.
that's also something maybe to take in as well. Okay, moving forward now about kind of, you know, the achievement you got in terms of finding something that you don't have to rely on the model. I want to talk about, the strategy, right? I would say it's model independent, and I would say if you have the right tools in your agency, for example, AI, then it can be fully model independent. How do you
Hmm.
find that compared to relying to the model for content?
It's just a huge relief.
Yeah.
So that's always been a problem. I think every agency owner knows that, especially if you're working with pretty new models like we do, you don't have much backup in content most of the time. We also have some bigger ones, I would say, that have some experience in history. And if they come with lots of content, that's the ideal scenario. But not all of them have that, and not everyone like has the possibility to get huge creators if you're starting from zero, for example. And it's I would always recommend real content, so it's the best way, but you can like extend what you have using AI. But you need to be very careful because TikTok is very good in what they do. It's very good in inspiring, like finding out everything, and they will notice that it's AI, even if the pictures look super good. So you need to find ways to surpass like these systems that recognize it's AI. That's a will like guarantee or will make a better output more likely.
Nice. And are you, so on the AI side of things, are you using any AI content for TikTok? And how is that like performing to real content?
It's we do definitely use AI content, and we've in fact we've seen some of our best performing posts where that were totally made by AI, and we try to mix everything. And especially when you launch an account, I would basically focus or mainly focus on real content first, and especially when launching a new account, like keeping everything as unique as possible. And afterwards, I would add the AI content, keep it as unique as possible as well, keep it high quality, put some edits on it, make it look as real as possible. So not only TikTok doesn't notice it's AI, but people, the humans are a part of it too. They get even better by the day, and everyone almost notices when it's AI. So you need to level up the pictures in some way.
Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, o overall, I think it's a huge relief, relying on
Yeah,
these
of
type of tools.
course.
Um, Very nice, very nice. And what's the most subs you've got from TikTok in 24 hours?
So I've just checked. I can only say what my tracking links said.
Hmm.
And in my experience, tracking links often just track like 50 to 60%
Yeah.
or even less. But on one account, which was guaranteed only TikTok, we had 152 in 24 hours, free subs.
Yeah.
And with a pretty new model, I think it was like within 2 weeks of starting her TikToks. And but she came with lots of content you gotta add. And the other model, we're trying it for two right now, or we have been trying it for two, added more now. For the other one, it was, I think, 110
Hmm.
roundabout or slightly more. And that's what the tracking links say.
Yeah.
But
Makes
you,
sense.
it's pretty dynamic. You have to add that too. It's pretty dynamic, so sometimes it really peaks,
Yeah.
but you always have like a healthy baseline, which is
That's nice.
pretty helpful. That's what I was looking for.
That's very good. I think Instagram doesn't have that at all. Instagram is literally
Hmm.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
up and down. And okay, before we even move on to the next question, to stick a little bit on this one, you mentioned the two models. Would you say
Hmm.
also TikTok is an app that not only prioritizes, but for example, if it's the model has looks X, Y, and Z, it does better. Or for example, you would say that model looks don't really matter, and you can get the amount of same subs as you're getting with the two models you have. Or is it really like look specific wise?
Hmm. What I've seen during the time I've tried different models now is the most important part, in my opinion, is the face. So we need a pretty face. That's I think that's the biggest part of it, yeah. Then of course some subtle cleavage or something, the basics, but an attractive look, pretty young, of course, an adult, but a like pretty young looks are very helpful. And aesthetics regarding background, for example, if like the average Argentinian waltz or something, so I think many people know that there if everything looks broken and dirty and something, we just want an aesthetic nice background basically.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, and what's the total amount of subscribers you generated from TikTok so far? So the two or three, or in general, the total models you are running TikTok for, what is the amount?
It must have been around round about, I think, 2.5K
Yeah,
free subs
nice.
in total with two
Mm-hmm.
models.
Mm-hmm.
One started like 3 weeks ago, the other one 4 weeks ago. That's what we're at right now. I didn't check today, but that's what we're
Very
at the
nice.
moment.
Very nice. And what does your conversion look like from TikTok clicks to subs?
That's that's pretty interesting question because so we have different types of funnels,
Okay.
and the funnels all also like pre-decide what quality of fan you get. So there's steps in the funnel that people have to take more action
Mm-hmm.
and manually do some work. I would say like typing names and everything. And you will get a higher conversion from there. Of course, you won't get the volume, but from that like higher effort funnel, we have gotten subs, I think like with up to 27% conversion, and we had $22 spent per fan via that link. So they were pretty invested. And at the same time, we have funnel types that just get the volume in, and you have a conversion of, let's say, it most of the time it's between 8 and 11%, but more, yeah, close to 10, 9 to 10 most of the time. But it depends on the funnel.
Yeah, 100%. Strong, to be honest. Very, very
Mhm.
strong. I like that number between 8 and 10. I think that's a very healthy, let's say, conversion. Okay, and moving lastly, a couple of lesson type of questions. What's like one thing you wished you knew before starting TikTok?
I wish I would have known that there's a way, or there are many different ways
Yeah.
to not depend on the model, and to do your own content, to do your own posting, to be a professional or a more professional agency that offers services and has solutions for everything, even if you can't like rely on the model. I wish I would have known that there's more than just Instagram. There's ways to back up everything, to back up Instagram, to get just like some security and some backup, and not rely on one or two sources, because of course, like everyone, we've also experienced it. Our 90% traffic main Instagram account was that no reps for 2 weeks, no reps available, and you're fucked. So what we're trying now, and what I think is pretty important, especially in the future of this business, is to have like assets, to have security and backup, and have people inside, like have a pool of fans around your brand that like the model as a person, like a small community, and have backup to launch new accounts and new traffic methods. Because TikTok is like, for me, it's more like a backup, a baseline. And of course, you should also, in my opinion, go via Instagram at the same time. But I would like to split everything a little bit so we have different ways.
Very nice, nice. Okay, my last like two questions, I'll put them all into one.
Mhm.
Any advice for agency owners who haven't started TikTok yet? And who would you recommend EM systems or just partnering up with me for?
I would, what I would, first part was what I would advise to agency owners in general, right?
Who
Okay, so
haven't
in
started TikTok, or yes.
who haven't started TikTok, sorry. Yeah, I would, in general, I would advise them to think outside the box, to not do what everyone does, and to find out if there's more, like I did now, because it was very helpful to find the system. And I had nice help finding it, so I didn't have to find everything out myself. And I would recommend you to, I would recommend you to try it. I would recommend you to not do like everything in masses and blindly. I would recommend you to find your own way in there and get some advice, of course. You can find out everything yourself, but it will take some time, and you can shorten that time if you get help. That's what I would recommend you to do. But most important part is find a way that works for you. What worked for me doesn't have to work for everyone, so it's pretty individual. It depends on your creators, on your setup, on yourself, and there's a way. Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you for that, Tobias. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, as you heard it from the man himself, Tobias, part two of the interview will come out probably in the next couple of weeks, and that will be with his business partner Yannick about Instagram. I am very excited to see how that will go. And that's it from me today. Thank you so much, and see you in the next one.
Have a nice day.